How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for the weekend of April 20th and April 21st, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys had a great week. We are here with this long-awaited, exciting, revolutionary, transformative, and liberating Jupiter-Uranus conjunction here. And going right into today, once again, as Mars, has been sextile to this Jupiter-Uranus. It was at 21 yesterday. Now the moon in Virgo is going to come to 21 degrees and make a trine to this Jupiter-Uranus. And this Mars is also there where the moon and Mars will be opposing each other. So, there is this very exciting, radical new energy coming in, and new potentials and new opportunities are going to start showing up in our lives in very unexpected ways. I mean, this could be financial gains, material gains, especially with Mars supporting this Jupiter-Uranus still, and this moon opposing Mars while trining this Jupiter and Uranus. I think on a spiritual level, there's this force from another dimension, the fourth dimension, from the fifth dimension, who the fuck knows? Like, there is a divine force from this Mars in Pisces getting ready to make its conjunction with Neptune and with Saturn here. And with the moon opposing Mars, there is a force that wants to help us from the other side, that wants to bring in big, new, positive, material expansion and opportunities into our lives. Wherever this is falling at for you in your chart, whether it's in your second house, your eighth house, your ninth house, on your midheaven, or your fourth house, wherever it's happening for you in your chart is where your life is going to be expanding in revolutionary ways, unexpectedly. People, places, things, ideas, innovative ideas, creative ideas, new ideas about philosophy or spirituality, or anything associated with natural law and how we perceive natural law is going to shift. It's going to change. And, new ideas are going to be coming to the surface. Definitely in society. Uranus rules society. Aquarius rules society. There are going to be new ideas and beliefs that are going to be shifting and changing, and beliefs are going to be challenged as well with new ideas, new inventions, new technological revolutions. It's hilarious to me because, during February, Apple just released those fucking goggle things, right? That was kind of didn't fucking do much. All this VR stuff, like, it's not doing much. Like, it's not sticking, right? It's not just crazy technology that's going to be, changing our lives here. It's crazy kinds of ideas, and practical ideas and situations that we've never been in before, and putting yourself in very uncomfortable, weird situations, or, giving time to people that you normally wouldn't, or having, unique conversations, or some random person you meet can really bring new opportunities into your life. Like, this is a time where anything can happen, financial windfalls, massive changes, So imagine if, here's the scenario, like, here's a scenario. And this is what the energy with this Jupiter-Uranus really feels like, is that, say the stock market crashes and everyone panics and no one knows what to do. People are freaking out. Oh my God, the world's over. But then there's a solution that arises to the surface based upon the pressure and the radicalism of such a sudden event, affecting our reality and forcing us to think and innovate and come up with a different way. Okay, now that we have to face this reality, we have to think in different ways, because when we are comfortable and when we are just totally, content where we're at, we don't tend to just come up with ideas. We like where we're at. We're comfortable. But that's how Uranus works. It tends to bring on sudden, rapid events that really force us to think differently and innovate and have to come up with unique strategies. And Mars supporting this as well is like giving us this real gusto and libido to really fucking like take this shit on, and push this manifesting energy into real action, with this divine kind of support. And with the moon opposing Mars while trining Jupiter, it's like the things that are going to be showing up in our lives, even though they may be unexpected, they may challenge you, they may challenge your beliefs, and you may feel unsure. It's going to be more realistic and more practical than you really think. But there's this like balance of like, wow, like I can feel the divine connection of this new area in my life that's expanding. I can feel the divinity within it. But like I also understand the practical nature of how this came to be in the first place. Right? That's to me what this really feels like. This is earth energy, mixed in with this Mars and Pisces. So there is this wonderful, divine support from this Mars and Pisces, but helping us expand our practical reality in ways. And it's amazing. I'm really just fucking glad that this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is getting such amazing aspects as it's happening from the moon and Mars, And now Venus is at 18 degrees. And it's pretty awesome that as this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening, we are in fucking Taurus season officially. The sun is at Taurus, or the sun is in Taurus at 0 degrees. So let the manifestation party begin. Just don't be surprised. Actually, we all will be very surprised. You need to think what I'm saying here. Sometimes with Mercury and Aries in retrograde, you don't really think about what you're saying. And actually doing these horoscopes, I don't think about anything that I'm saying, to be honest with you. I'm just letting it happen. And, this has been, what's the last time? I mean, think back to what your life was in 2010 and 2011. Okay? How new big opportunities came into your life, or new situations came into your life, or go look at Jupiter and Uranus in your chart right now where this is happening, and look at where it happened for you in 2010. It was around where Neptune was at. So Neptune is at the degree close where the last Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happened. So I think there is a connection here with Neptune, because Neptune is just about to come to 0 degrees of Pisces, and this was 2010, 2011. This is a really interesting curveball to throw in here, and this is very much Uranus. The curveballs, the fucking, out of nowhere kind of energy. I mean, we got to think back to the vision and what we were expanding in our lives spiritually, and how we were expanding spiritually. I think at that time, at that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, after that, within a year, 6 months, honestly, thinking about it, once 2011 rolled around, it was like Neptune came into Pisces after that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happened. And then this whole new spiritual revolution seemed to really start to rise up. That's when I started realizing and noticing that people are starting to question things more. I was in that state, and I'm trying not to project my own experience and reality onto that moment, but I noticed it wasn't just me. It was a moment where all of a sudden, like, it was a sudden shift. And I'll never forget the moment that I realized that, and I felt that. It was a singular moment of, like, realization that really made me look back. Take a step back and really look at my surroundings and, like, wow, like, the world that I was in just 6 months ago prior, it no longer exists. Eclipses tend to do that, but these Jupiter-Uranus conjunctions really, really do that in almost real time, right? The eclipse energy is more subtle in how things tend to change, or more karmic, or more faded, or, in ways you already knew deep within you. You were just going through the process karmically. This Jupiter-Uranus, it's like when you realize it and it comes to you and it hits you like a lightning bolt. It's like, oh shit, like now I can see, like I can't believe that we're here now and that we were there and that where we were no longer exists, I remember that in 2011, around that era of Neptune coming into Pisces, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction at the very end of Pisces where Neptune is at. So there were a lot of visions and dreams that we were projecting, at that time, that I think too, with this Jupiter, Uranus, and Taurus happening here at 21, this is the moment where long planted seeds that were planted long ago, even back to this last Jupiter, Uranus conjunction in 2010, 2011 time, those things, what you were going through now, are even going to start to show up in ways that you've fucking forgot about. I think that's really exciting. But there's so much support here, and keeping, the vision and the manifestation, like activity and action, keeping it realistic and practical, but also like embracing this divine kind of push and support from Mars and Pisces. To keep like pushing forward and keep making it happen, because now is the time where we are laying in, to the universe, like what we want to expand with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. It's like things can change overnight. People's lives can change overnight, and they do. Jupiter is, always associated with some miraculous expansion or gifts. Jupiter is gifts. It's like, hey, here you go. You needed this. But everything that is being given to us or gifted to us, it's not just a gift. It's for you, for your purpose, for your soul to build a better future. It's not just some random, oh, here's a toy, here's a gift, go have fun, go play. It's like, no, like there are gifts showing up in our lives that we need. And that we need to help other people, not only just to help our lives, it can expand our lives, but the way we can expand our own lives can expand other people's lives. And that's really what all these Pisces transits have been teaching us, in Saturn and Pisces. It's like the more you commit to acts of selfless service or going out of your way to help others, and sacrificing yourself and surrendering to the reality or to your higher power or God or whatever it is for you, it's like that's where the expansion is going to show up, and it may feel very unexpected, and it will revolutionize your life, and it will change your life in a very radical way, in ways that you didn't really foresee or couldn't really quite grasp yet, and over the next 6 months to a year after this Jupiter-Uranus happens, this weekend, we're going to start to see the whole world around us change, alliances change, groups change, philosophies and ideas and beliefs really change radically. We're going to see a collective shift of perception change, and we've already seen it slowly happen over the past 5 years, since 2020, 4 years since 2020. Really since Uranus came into Taurus in 2018, but really in 2020. So we're going to see a collective shift of beliefs and ideology, ideology being kind of swept under the rug. This could bring, a whole new perspective of what really matters in life. Because when it comes to Taurus, it's all about what really matters. This is like letting go as well, of like breaking any sort of old patterns that keep you in a loop, that help you or that keep you from not, being able to make rapid change in your life or make some kind of change in your life that keeps you stuck. That's where Taurus, that's the dark side of Taurus, is just being stuck and being immovable and unchangeable. This Jupiter-Uranus is going to force everybody to move and shift and shake things up, in whatever way. It may be uncomfortable at first, but just remember, when those really uncomfortable things start to come at you, be like, oh, that's Jupiter-Uranus. And if I just go with it and I just move with it and I just trust this Mars and Pisces and, I keep a level head with this Moon in Virgo supporting it as well. And if I just stay practical and just ride through the fucking turbulence, that's where your life is going to expand. And that's the hardest thing about this Jupiter-Uranus, is being able to accept that, okay, where my life is going to expand is through the turbulence, through the chaos that's going to bring on this new revolutionary change in my life or in the world. That's what this is all about. We just have to remember that we're being supported here. There's a lot of support to this Jupiter-Uranus. It's a miracle, because not every good transit like this gets great aspects to it. That's a blessing. This is a big blessing. This is the biggest blessing we're going to have all year. And it's not just this day and this moment. It's for the next 6 months, to the next year, to the next 12 years when Jupiter comes back to Taurus, and then 13 years when Jupiter's in Gemini. Think about this. The Sun and Jupiter are not going to be able to meet each other when Jupiter leaves Taurus and goes into Gemini. What's exciting, though, is that 13 years from now, Uranus is in Gemini. The next time Jupiter comes into Gemini after this year and next year, 12, 13 years later, we're going to have the Gemini Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, right? Now, Uranus thrives in Gemini. Uranus always is really an amazing transit in Gemini. If you look at the history, you can go back to, post-World War II, the end of World War II, post-World War II, when Jupiter moved into Gemini, and how, just our communities and how we connected and communicated, and technology that allowed us to communicate in different ways, television, radio, all these things. The beginning of the modern world as we know it was radicalized and transformed in that way, right? But at that time, at that Jupiter-Uranus, there was no... I don't think there was a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Gemini, actually. So that's what's exciting. That's really what is to look forward to as well, is that this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, as amazing and as fucking abundant and positive and powerful and radical as it is, and how much it's going to change our lives in a big way, in a positive way. We have to look at the next 6 months, a year, 12 years, 13 years, like what this is going to be, really shifting and changing and expanding for us in our lives. Wherever it's happening in your chart, that's where you have to aim for. That's where you have to go. For me, it's happening in my 12th house, right? And on my Venus. My Venus is 20 degrees Taurus. Lucky me, right? Goddamn. I've been waiting for this for a long time. And I'm not waiting. There's been no waiting. It's just I've been working towards this. I've been planting the seed for a very long time. Putting in the daily effort, the daily work. Now so many things. I've already seen glimpses of it. Now it's really going to start flourishing in very powerful, beautiful, potent ways. If you're having this in your 10th house, you're going to have massive career changes, and, your career is going to really blow up and take massive shifts in ways that you never foresaw, or you get new opportunities, or maybe you get let go of, and it might be chaotic at first. You might get let go of like some big job or career that you had, and you get fired, and then all of a sudden you get the next biggest opportunity of your life out of nowhere. Like that's this kind of energy here. We don't get this very often, Like, you see on fucking TikTok every day. All these people just like, oh, I'm like, 4 signs that are gonna fucking get lucky today. It's just like, no, like, It's not necessarily about that. Now, you can take people's individual charts and, you can see when things are happening and occurring, but on a collective level, we do not get moments like this. If children are being born, the children that are being born with this chart, with this Jupiter, those people are going to be changing the world in how we use money, how we farm, how we exchange currency, the kinds of currency, what currency really is. These people who are being born at this time are going to be really challenging our beliefs and our values and our ideas and philosophies about the world. There's going to be new ideas and new philosophies that are going to be really becoming more mainstream or accepted. I think it's exciting too. Astrology is being more accepted mainstream. We've seen in the past 5 years. More and more now it's to a place where it's like almost normal. You see fucking like USA Today talking about, I saw the USA Today or whatever, these big fucking dorky American mainstream media companies, that used to be a part of our normal lives that are now looked at as just like fucking creepy, talking about the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction and how it's going to affect your life. And the last time Jupiter-Uranus conjuncted 13, 14 years, I'm like, mainstream media is going into the actual science of astrology. Fuck yeah, that's exciting. But at the same time, Pluto's over here lurking. Like, hey, you can't see me, motherfuckers. So, there's so much power coming in through us, for us, individuals and humanity as a collective, But there is this dark force lurking here, all by itself, watching and knowing that this is happening. Who will try to put a damper on that, right? Who will try to control it. Especially control it through technology in an Aquarian way or through groups and groupthink and ideology, which, we've seen all of that fucking come up since 2021 when Saturn and Jupiter was in Aquarius. Excuse me. So, we have to take this amazing thing that is happening in the sky this weekend and use it for the best possible good and for the highest projection to really change and radicalize the way things are going. We just went through this eclipse, so you know what? Karmically, things are shifting and changing, whether we like it or not. Just this Jupiter and Uranus is really amplifying it and really going to raise a lot of questions within people, even people who may have not have been as awake before, because this last Jupiter-Uranus 13 years ago is when I really noticed people started waking up. And definitely 5 years ago, when Uranus came into Taurus, more and more people started waking up. Astrology started becoming more mainstream. And by 2020, 21, 22, it was like, damn, you could really see a massive awakening of people. And now here we are at this fucking crazy 2024. And we've seen how people's opinions and beliefs and ideas about the world have totally changed, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with that Michael Rappaport comedian. He's a Jewish comedian. He's a funny fucking guy. I remember him as a kid being on like movies and shit. He was always super funny. He's a New Yorker type of person, got a super thick New York accent. I know probably a lot of you know who I'm talking about. He used to be the most hardcore liberal kind of Trump hater, massive Trump hater. If it's liberal, I'll fucking kiss its fucking feet, right? Just as long as it's liberal. He's one of those guys, Hollywood kind of liberal dude. And now, since all this shit that's been going on and how the world has changed so much, you're seeing people like him who have been hardcore leftists and Trump fucking derangement hater syndrome who are now voting for Trump. I'm not giving any of my own views. I'm just saying, This is how Pluto and Aquarius works. This is how Uranus works. This is how Aquarius works, where we just see, holy shit, like one day it's this, one day it's that. But this is very Jupiter. It's like your beliefs and your philosophies, you know, and I think that's fantastic, because if you're a person who's just totally stuck and set in their ways forever, nothing can change you. You're incapable of expanding, which is what this Jupiter Uranus wants us to do, right? Taurus gets stuck. It doesn't want to change at all. You know, Jupiter wants to change. It wants to fucking bring in more ideas and, you know, challenge your way of thinking. And I've been in that place. I'm a North Node, ninth house, Saturn, ninth house, from my midheaven. Like, I can honestly say, like, you know, yes, I have my own opinions and beliefs and values that are mine, and they are a part of who I am and my identity and where I come from and my upbringing and my psychological makeup. But I could say that, you know, like, I have been totally challenged in my life and what I think about the world, and something new pops up and it totally shifts course within me, and I allow it to happen, and I allow it to stir within me and think about it and contemplate it until, like, you know, one idea that used to be within myself no longer is, and it, you know, I now have this new expanded version or a whole different outlook. I could say, like, I have flip-flopped many times just by, you know, shifts in reality occurring that really, like, say, wow, like, how I used to think and how I used to feel no longer exists anymore. So that's what this Jupiter Uranus is really all about, is, you know, breaking any of those mindsets where you're just like totally like, this is the only way, like, you know, Taurus, I don't fucking move, like, I've always thought this way, you know, it can't be any different, you know. Being stuck there, you're gonna miss out on all the goodies, right? Jupiter's like Santa Claus. He only shows up not that often, but when he does, and he shows up with some friends, Uranus, you betcha it's gonna be fucking big. It's gonna be massive. So you have to be willing to ride the current of change, because it's going to happen in a big way. The world is going to change in a massive way. It did the last time in 2010, 2011. And that era right there, to me, is like how we got here, you know? And honestly, now, like, kind of looking back at these Jupiter-Uranus transits, like, you could see the cultural expansion of how the world and humanity as a whole shifted, you know? Not necessarily on an individual level. This is Uranus, so you can really see it. And now really thinking about it, now that we're here, it's like, wow, like, because of what happened in 2010 and 2011 is really connected to the sequence of events that really led to where we're at now. And I can really see that for the first time. I really thought about it. Jupiter and Uranus doesn't happen that often. So let's see what we got for this Jupiter-Uranus. Get a couple here. There we go. I mean, there is some things that we're going to have to leave behind and sacrifice, you know, and it could be painful. It could feel gloomy. It can feel, you know, like you know, maybe I'm going to miss out, and that's not the case. You know, the Ace of Pentacles is like, this is that Mars and Pisces really supporting this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Some divine source is like presenting you like, you know, you are valuable. You need this. And if you can expand with this and serve and help others, like, it will expand your life in massive ways. And it's, you know, with the Nine of Cups, it's like we have all we need. You know, we have all we need, right? I just want to pull one more with this Nine of Cups. So... and we got the Empress card. So this is very Venus. This is very Taurus. Like, we have to enjoy it as well. We can't just, like, also get too lazy with this Nine of Cups and just say, oh, I got all I need, right? It's like, no, with this Uranus, you have to, like, actually, like, channel your ideas and like put your ideas out there and like actually try to think about things a little differently and find different ways, you know. But also, I think when we can really stumble upon new ideas and new ways of being and new ways of thinking, I think it can take us to a place of comfort of knowing like, wow, you know, I think finding comfort is really, at this moment with this conjunction happening, I think we can find comfort when we really do think outside the box, and then we get stimulated with a new understanding that we get excited about. You know, I think there's comfort in that, and that can bring some ease of like, wow, you know, like I really did like actually make some moves to do some different things. And, you know, I think where we can get uncomfortable is being unwilling to move and unwilling to change. But whether we like it or not, still coming off this eclipse, we're not at the full moon yet, and that this conjunction is happening now. Whether you like it or not, if you think that you're just going to be the same person you were pre-eclipse, pre-Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, you know, you can keep lying to yourself, but no, like this is the moment. After today and this weekend and next week, the world is not going to look the same, you know, whether it's physically or just your perspective or your perception. You know, you got to prepare for a massive shift here and a massive expansion. So this is a beautiful thing. We don't get this very often. Definitely absorb it as much as you can this weekend and put it into action, with Mars and Pisces making a great sextile supporting this, with the moon trining and opposing Mars. There's no bad aspects to this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. I mean, Pluto's dispositing Uranus in Aquarius, just lurking. You know, don't get sucked into the dark. Don't get sucked into that shit. It doesn't really, you know, Pluto's powerful, but I don't think it can stand up to Jupiter, Uranus, Mars. And Neptune. We can throw Neptune in the mix too. So, the light is winning right now. We are winning. We are winning. So, with that being said, my Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus reading sale is still available until Jupiter comes into Gemini. I'm going to keep that available. If you're new here, all the links to my social media platforms are in the description of this video. And the link to my booking website for the reading sale is also in the description of this video with all of my social media platforms. Have a wonderful, expansive, very revolutionary weekend that's kicking off this whole new phase of our lives that's going to go on for the next 13 years. And coming off a massive eclipse, things are not going to look the same in the best way. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. I'm going to be out of town actually until next Thursday, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do the horoscopes here. I may pre-record them, which is, you know, I have to do sometimes if I have things. And if you don't know, I literally always do these the day before the next day. So they just post right at midnight. There's no secret sauce to any of that. But I may take my computer with me. I'm going to see family for my grandfather's memorial, actually. Tomorrow I'm flying out. And to see my ear doctor. So I'm going to figure that out. But anyway, I appreciate all of you, and I will see you all next week. Peace out.